Well, today we're looking at my gear from my Colorado 4-pass loop trip, and you're watching Andy Parrish Outdoors. Well, hey everybody, Andy here. Thanks for joining me today. And like I said, we're going to be looking at all the gear that I took with me on my Colorado 4-pass loop trip. 4 days, 3 nights out near Aspen, Colorado. A total spectacular trip. But I'm going to go through everything that I took with me, and then at the end I'm also going to discuss a few things that I probably should have left behind that I ended up not using or not needing on that trip. So also, if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about backpacking, outdoor adventures, and gear. Most definitely gear. And a few tips and tricks along the way too. So if any of those things interest you, consider subscribing, and then you'll be alerted every time I post new content. And there is a lot of new content coming. So sit back and relax, and let's dive right in. Now I'm gonna have all the links to everything below. So, as you're watching this, know that you can go down below into the description, see links, see information of everything that I took with me, so that you can go reflect back on those things and maybe come up with your own list. All right, so this is it, all laid out, getting ready to pack, head to the airport tomorrow. All right, so starting with the big three, I'm going to start with my pack. That's the Zpacks Arc Blast 55-liter pack. Comes in 20.9 ounces, and then there's a few additions onto that pack, including some side pockets, hip belt pockets, and front pockets to carry water. And I also have a capture clip on the front, also for my camera. So that'll be my pack. And then moving on, I've got my sleep system, which I'm going to have my insulation. I'm going to have my Underquilt, and that's the Hammock Gear Incubator. That's the Econ 20. And I also have an Enlightened equipment Enigma. That's a 20-degree long, wide quilt. So those would be my 2 sets of insulation. And my shelter is going to be, I have the Dutchware Chameleon hammock. I have the Hammock Gear 12-foot Enigma tarp with doors. In that pack I've also got stakes and a line to tie it out, Ridgeline, and I also have suspension, which I'm just doing straps with beetle buckles, and I also have a little ground sheet, just a 2x3 poly cryo. So my pack comes in at 1.73 pounds. My insulation comes in at 3.04 pounds. And then my shelter setup comes in at 2.77 pounds. And that's the big three. Now moving right down the list, I've got underneath that is my cook setup. So I've just got a little Reflectix koozie. I've got my Toke's titanium 650 milliliter cup and lid. I will have a canister, which I'll have to pick up out in Colorado since I won't be able to fly with that. And then I will have my Pocket Rocket 2. I have a little sponge scrubby for cleaning pots, and also uses a pot holder, and a mini Bic lighter, and my titanium spork, and that is the entirety of my cook kit. Right underneath that, I've got my electronics. So I'll have my Galaxy S10 phone, which I'll use for GPS navigation, and possibly some texting as well. Next to that, I've got my Anker 20,000 milliamp battery bank, and my headlamp is the Nitecore NU25. I've got reviews on that. I'll link that up above. As I go through all this gear, I'll link all that information so that you guys can go and take a look at all that as well. I'll also have the InReach Mini, which is by Garmin, which is my satellite communicator. I've got a review on that too. I'll link that up above as well. And that's my electronics. Next to that, I've got my water capabilities. So I will have a 1 liter smart water bottle for just drinking my already filtered water. I'm going to have a 1 liter Catadine Bee-Free filter bag. So I'll be using that to filter the waters out of the stream and to fill my smart water bottle, and then also use the Bee-Free bag to carry an extra liter. And then I will also have with me, that is the Hydro Pack Ultra Flask. It's a 600 milliliter bottle, and I'll be using that for my smellables drinks, so all of my electrolyte drinks and things like that. It's collapsible as well, and it just comes in at 1.3 ounces, so I can throw that in my bear bag easily at night. And then the other ones I can leave out, no problem with those, because those will only be using just water. And that's my water kit. Next to those, I've got my packed clothing, and that's going to include my rain shell, and that's the Arc'teryx. That's the Zeta LT. I will have some wind pants and rain pants made by Montbell. Those are the Versalites. I will have some gloves and some glove liners. So my mittens, those are Borah. I'll put that information on the screen, and just some basic wool liners that I'll bring as well for my hands. I'll have, that's my Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer jacket. I'll have some Goose Feet Gear down booties for keeping my feet warm at night. And then I will have, these are Smartwool 150s Merino wool long sleeve top and bottom to sleep in. And then I'll have my only backup clothing will be an extra pair of Darn Tough socks and a pair of boxers. And then underneath it, you can kind of see there's a Enigma waterproof bag that I will use to store those in. And that is all of my packed clothing. Moving from my packed clothing down to kind of my hygiene kit. And this is, I will have my trowel and teepee. And that is just the Chi Whiz Big Dig. And I will also have just a Granite Gear little ditty bag. I will have my first aid kit. I will have toothbrush, toothpaste, a mini body glide, a couple little packets of sunscreen, and then I'll have a little pocket knife, which is the Victorinox Classic SD, a mini chapstick with sunscreen, and then also with me is just some hand sanitizer. And that is the entirety of my hygiene kit. Now, moving from the hygiene kit, I'm going to move over to my clothing that I'll be wearing. I'm going to have a, that's Patagonia R1 insulation top that I will be hiking with probably most of the time. I'll have a Patagonia, that's the Capilene Cool long sleeve hoodie that I'll be hiking with, which should be great on this because you know, you get a lot of sun protection with that, and you can pull it up over your face, over your neck and head, just to give you a little bit of extra sun protection, so that you don't have to completely coat yourself all the time with sunscreen at such high elevations where it's so easy to burn. I will have, that's Prana, those are the Stretch Zion pants, some Darn Tough socks, just a thin nylon webbing belt, some boxers, and then I'll be wearing my Ultra Lone Peak 4s. These are the mids. I completely wore out my the trail hiking shoes, the Ultra Lone Peak 4s. Those are completely shot now, so I've had these in storage ready to go, and I love the Lone Peak 4s, but it'll be new to try out the mids on this trip, so we'll see how those perform. Also on my body, I'll be carrying, those are the Black Diamond Alpine Carbon Cork trekking poles. I'll just have a trucker's hat, showing a little bit of Hoosier pride. I will have a buff that I'm planning to bring with me as of right now. I've also looked at a balaclava or just one of my wool hats, but as of right now I think I'm going to use the buff. And then of course I'm going to have to bring a mask to wear on the shuttle, both to and from the trailhead. So that's all of my worn clothing that I'm prepared to wear while I'm on trail. Also then I will have some food storage, and this is my bear bag, which is the Ursack Major XL, and also that's the OPSAK odor-proof bags. I'll only be taking one of those, so I'll open that pack and I'm gonna pack all my food up here in a little bit. And then a few miscellaneous items is a few luxury items too. I'm going to be bringing the Chair Zero from Helinox. Comes in a little over a pound. That'll be my seat on trail. And then I'm also bringing for the first time, that is Zpacks the Lotus umbrella, just to provide a little bit of shade from some of the more exposed areas, so I don't have to be constantly coating myself with sunscreen. I'll have that. And we are expecting a little bit of rain, so I'm going to be testing out just what I think about bringing an umbrella on trail. They seem to be gaining in popularity. I'm just really curious how they are actually in use, so I'm going to try it out and see what I think. That's it in a nutshell, everything that I'm going to be bringing out on trail. A little under 15 pounds, and then we'll be adding water and food. My estimate is about 5 pounds of food for the 4 days, and probably we'll be carrying about 2 liters of water at any point in time. So we're looking at another 9+ pounds on top of that 15 at the heaviest points on trail, but it should get just lighter than that as we continue to eat through the food and any other consumables. Now, if you feel this so far has been useful, please go ahead and give this video a like. It really helps the channel and the visibility, so I really, really appreciate that. All right, so let's look at some of the items that I would have left behind now that I've done it. First and foremost, the umbrella. Now, this isn't so much a knock against the umbrella, but where we were, yeah, there was lots of exposed areas, but having that lightweight Patagonia hoodie was amazing, and it kind of eliminated the need for me to have something like that. I could pull that up over my head, get coverage from the sun. I didn't really have to apply sunscreen at all the entire trip, which I was not expecting. So having that hoodie, I could now drop the umbrella completely. Now the second thing is my buff. I probably now would leave that behind, and I thought maybe I would take it, leave it and take a lighter weight wool hat that I have. But with the temperatures that we had, we only really had one morning that was in the upper 30s, and with my R1 hoodie, I didn't really feel like I needed to have a buff in addition to that. So I would leave the buff at home. My cook kit koozie, never needed it. I mean, even when I was making coffee in the morning, I was typically stopping and eating it, or drinking immediately. I wasn't sitting anything and having to keep it warm. Heated it up, drank it, and left. It was just not cold enough for me to worry about this. If it was 20s and 30s, more regularly through the day, maybe I would have used this, but in the conditions, I didn't need it. Along that same line, my goose feet, down socks during the evenings, I started to wear them the first night. They were too warm. It just wasn't comfortable. And that was the coldest night, was that first night for me. The rest of the nights, it was toasty warm every single night. So the booties, I'd leave those too. And last, my rain pants. We were forecast to have mostly dry weather, have a chance for rain maybe part of one day, and that's exactly what we got. Rain part of one day, and that was it. So, having The pants that I have that have kind of a repellent on the pants themselves was able to shed some of that light mist, the sleet and the snow that we got to. So I didn't really feel the need for that. And having a wool backup, base layer, if I got soaked and needed to change into something just to keep, body temperature high enough, I had that. So I think the rain pants would be something else that I would leave out. Now, none of these items, there's one other, which was my gloves, the mittens. I would keep the gloves because I actually wore the wool liners, but I just found that it was, again, overkill to have a rain layer on top of that. I just didn't need it for the warmth, and for the conditions, I also didn't really need it. So those things, none of those are very heavy. I saved myself probably about 3/4 of a pound, and that's about it. But looking at my gear list after I got back, those are the items that I looked at and said, yeah, I'd probably cut all of those. I just didn't feel like that they were worth having along. That's it. All right, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, be well.